Namaste. Salam alaikum. Sat Sri Akal. Fellow cohort members, facilitators. My name is Ravi ELI. I grew up in India, and those three greetings that I shared with you was part of the culture I grew up in. It's not one religion, not one culture, but the mix of different ideas and views. We have heard lots of personal stories. And in this case, I decided to ask myself, so what do I want to share with you? I want to share with you something because you made a difference. I'm going to start by sharing a story that I heard a long time ago, which actually was a good model for me to talk about leadership. And this program told me everything that story had to do about leadership. Then I would like to share with you a very personal story. And if time permits, I'm going to either talk about what the phrase "Make America Great Again" means to me as an immigrant, or how I threw Bill under the bus. Long time ago, in India, there was a water bearer. His job every day was to go down to the river, pick 2 parts of water, carry it up the hill to the master's house, and serve. Every day, it was the same job. Go down to the river, fill the parts of water, and bring it up. There were 2 parts with 2 different characteristics. One part, perfect. Put a drop of water, it will bring the drop of water. Put 5 gallons, it will bring 5 gallons. The other bucket had flaw. It leaked. You put 1 drop of water, you are never guaranteed. 5 gallons of water, probably you get 1 gallon. And yet, the water bearer chose to use both of them to go down to the river, up the hill, and serve the master. One day, the leaking part decided to ask the water bearer, "Why do you choose to use me? I am no good. You take me to the river, and I can't even bring the water." To which the water bearer said, "I know you leak. I know you are not perfect, and I chose you for that reason. You see on the path, I've sowed some seeds. And every time I brought the water, you watered those plants. And later on, they blossomed into flower. And the flowers that you see at my master's table at the top of the hill is what you created." My fellow cohort members, who do you identify with? The perfect part or the part with holes, or the imperfect one? I am a flawed part because I am not perfect. And I'm sure all of you can relate to that one in some form or the other. To me, that's a leadership lesson where the water bearer had to sit down with the leak part and say, "I have a situation. I have to assess, maybe put some reflection, and reinforce the belief like the ad card model does." It was about giving feedback. When your team member, the imperfect one, is not doing well, that is when you as a leader has to provide that feedback. It's also about situational leadership, where you exactly know where this person is. I am a flawed part. And a person who made the difference in my life is my mentor, Gail Darling. She's my supervisor. We heard a little bit about her from Carol because both of us were working for her. She was an IT supervisor who has been loaned to Department of Revenue, and who you are going to be very lucky to have her working for you. To me, Gail made a big difference because to come into ELI, I made 4 attempts. And all the 4 times, I got rejected for various reasons. In Minute services, and those of you who are from Minute, you know what I'm talking about. We have many challenges to go through. And yet, Gail never lost that hope in me. She provided that leadership that I needed. If you have a mentor in your life, hold on to it. If you have somebody who is helping you rise the ladders, never let it go, because that is the person who will build you from inside out. I came into the ELI program, and if I had known that I would get a big binder worth of materials to carry, I would have traded my car for a truck. But you see, I came into this ELI program with my own baggage, which was heavier than these books. 20 years ago, this building used to be Department of Revenue. And I came in September, maybe October of 1996. As you enter the doors, you go to your right and go all the way back to the windows. That is where my office was. Problem was, I was hurting inside. Newly married, 1-year-old child, and the marriage on the rocks. And every day was a struggle. My happiest moment was driving to 10 River Park Plaza. Saddest moment, going back home. Every day I had to find a reason. And I'm going to ask you to look into yourself. Maybe you had similar situation, where every day life was a struggle, or maybe for some part. And yet you chose to go on, and so did I. I had a reason, my daughter, who I was taking care of. For 3 years, when I was in this building, I tried every possible way to get rid of that. We did move on to the new building. I moved on with my life because I did divorce and took care of my daughter as a single parent and waited for my princess to come into my life and save me. Well, she did come, not on a white horse, but in a Buick Century 1997 model. Life has been blessed and I've been very happy because then we found a reason what works. And the reason is respect. In our class, we had sometime talked about what are the different attributes, and respect is what binds us together. We made sure we did very well until ELI came around. First day was excellent. Those pictures that a lot of you showed, oh, it was great. It was on Friday that we came here, and I was sitting there with Al, Ari, Jeffrey, and I thought, boy, what a strange feeling. Because all of a sudden, these 4 walls brought that ton of feeling right in top of me. And I sat there, at times zoning out. What does it mean to me? During halftime, I went outside on the bank, took a long walk. At the end of this walk, there were a few homeless people just residing there. And one of them was playing a music, which was, "She's a devil woman." And it's a song by Cliff Richards, which I have never heard in the United States. It's a British singer. I looked back just to make sure nobody was following me. Nobody was. I came back somehow, that time passed. 7 months today, I feel very different. I don't think you all realized the difference you made in my life. It's not that you talked to me. It's not that I shared my story with you. It was just being who you are, leaders in the heart. Shared the good stories, shared the good times. Today, after 7 months, when I will be passing this road, I'll not be looking at 10 River Park Plaza as a place where I have died, but a place where I have shared good times with you. And that to me is the essence of this life. My wife and I have wonderful time. And she's from a different culture. She was from Buffalo, New York. I'm from India, where things are very different. The politicians are very nasty there too. The only difference between our American and Indian politicians is that you speak English. My own flaw was to develop myself. You see, every time I heard an English phrase, the CPU in my brain will start processing that, convert that into Hindi, process it into Hindi, and then finally speak it out in English. I have to overcome that challenge. But never in my life I have felt in the United States that I was different. because of the difference you made in my life. We were talking about feedback. Well, there is another type of feedback that I would like to share with you. I learned to master the phrase, yes dear. So here it how it goes. Blah, 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 blah. Yes dear. Bunga, bunga, tunga. Yes dear. Have you been listening to me? Yes. What did I say? Did she say bunga, bunga, tunga first or blah, blah, blah first? Vikings are losing the game. And that's what I was watching. Of course, I was actively listening to the TV, not to my wife. Why did she ask me, what has happened to you? Should I tell her that I have been actively listening? Should I tell her that I have been practicing giving feedback? None of that worked. Because there were 3 reasons, and I was going to go into the doghouse anyway. First reason, I have already been there, so I can't sacrifice myself. All my ELI members, there were 31 of those, I can't give them. Bill is the only person. So Bill taught me all this thing. That's how I had to, okay, my wife will be there in graduation ceremony, please don't tell this to her. Right amount of money, we'll keep our house. I already have a bidder. I'm actually at time.
Keep going.
I'm going to share this story with you. What makes make America great again? What does that phrase mean to me? I have been wondering about this phrase ever since President Trump decided to make it his campaign. It meant nothing to me, honestly. And I still wanted to know what exactly this phrase means to me. Because finally, on the December 31st, I was watching the movie, Taking Chance. It is about a fallen Marine who is to be escorted all the way to his home in Montana for final resting place. 3 years ago, I lost my dad, and I was hurting inside. We all have lost people in this room. That movie told me that a senior official who chose to escort Chance all by himself, not give it to a local person, a small person. And through his journey, he came across a lot of Americans who showed respect without even knowing him or Chance values. Like all of us here in this room, we are not supposed to be judgmental. We cannot criticize the government, we cannot praise them. You and I have to carry out the work that we do. Chance Phelps, the foreign Marine, did what he was supposed to do. The hearts that you have in you is what makes America great again. It's not a phrase, it's not a deed, but the simple acts of kindness, the simple acts of giving that you do is what makes America great again. In my life, in 20 years working for the state, I can safely say I'm very lucky that I've never had to deal with any adverse situation, except for my personal life. The support I get, the encouragement I get, and the camaraderie that I live in is something I cherish every day. And I don't want to take it for granted. That is what makes America great. You made a difference in my life. And I have full faith that you will make a difference in any leadership position you take. Because the changes that you make will not be told back to you. It will be felt, it will happen, and you can make the difference. It has been a pleasure serving as a cohort member with all of you. Namaste, Alvida, thank you.